are watching lesson number 11, Doodly Scene Settings. Feel free to pause or rewind this video if you need more time to execute a command. I know it's a lot to learn, but keep calm and keep going. Okay guys, I need your undivided attention. When you begin to create videos, you will undoubtedly need to change the default settings in order to suit your video needs. Now there are two types of settings. You have the Doodly Scene Settings and the Doodly Video Settings. We're going to dive into both of these, but let's turn our attention to the scene settings first. Now I'm going to click this button to begin. Let's start at the top here. By default, this feature, Use Board and Hand Styles from Video Settings, is pre-selected. And because of that, the background style and hand style is not available for changes. But just for demonstration purposes, however, I'm just going to click on this blue On button in order to turn this feature off. There. Now we have access to all of the options that's on this screen. First, we have the preview screen. Now this preview is not the same as the preview feature that we discussed in the previous video. In the previous video, the preview screen showed you how your finished video would look if you were to export it at that time. However, this preview screen shows you only what the background and hand style that you have selected would look like. When I click on this hand, notice that the preview screen changes to the hand that I just clicked on. This will allow you to get an idea how the selected hand will look in your video. Now there are 15 hands here for me to choose from, but if I come over here to this gray bar to the right and I scroll down, you can see that there are 18 additional hand options for me to choose from. Now that's a total of 33 hand styles that's at my disposal. I don't know if I have so many choices because I have the enterprise level membership or if everyone has the same amount. Nevertheless, there are plenty of choices here. Now, notice that there are 4 different hand styles to choose from. Watch the preview screen as I click on each option. There's the left-handed and the right-handed. See how the hand moved from left to right? Then there's also the option to use real hands versus cartoon hands. Now, on the cartoon hands, there's an additional option to have either a 2D or a 3D hand. Also, at the very bottom here is the option to have no hand at all. Now, right below the preview screen is the background style option. Now, this is where you have the option to change the background for the current scene that you are working on. Your options are whiteboard, blackboard, green board, glass board, or custom. Watching the preview screen, you'll notice if I click blackboard, the hands now has a piece of chalk in it instead of a marker. Same thing if I click green board. I mean, it just makes sense. In the real world, you wouldn't use a marker to write on a green board or blackboard. You would use chalk. Hi everybody, Kellyanne here. Now you can watch each of these videos at videocaboose.com where they are neatly organized for you into one continuous tutorial, and that makes it super easy for you to pick up where you left off. If you still need to purchase the Doodly software, I placed the link down in the description box. Click on it. All of my videos are free to share on social media channels by clicking the share button. And oh yeah, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Alright, let's get back to work. Now let's say that the current video that you are working on has 12 different scenes and you have set the default background to whiteboard. However, for this one scene, you would like to use the green board background. All you have to do is click on the green box and then click apply. And this is what a green board background looks like. But wait a minute, what's missing from this scene? Aha, the text. Notice that the text box has disappeared. Now don't panic, it's still here, you just can't see it. However, if I scroll over in the area where the text box was at, as you can see, the text reappears. But when I move away, the text disappears again. Now the reason this is happening is because the color of the font is black and black ink is a no-show on both the green board and blackboard backgrounds. Now, needless to say, this is a really big issue and it must be fixed if you want viewers to be able to read your text. So fortunately, there is a really simple solution. Here's how. Scroll over your text box and click on it. Next, click on this gear icon that says Asset Settings. And then I want you to come down to where it says color and I want you to click on the black box. Next, I want you to click on any color other than black and click the apply button. Now, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to choose white, and then I'm going to click apply, and voila, there it is. Now you can see the text that's associated with the scene. Just remember to apply these same steps when you are choosing to use the blackboard background as well. Notice how weird the images appear here? There is a special technique that you must use if you plan on adding images to a green board or blackboard background. Now, I'm not going to discuss that in this tutorial. However, I do discuss this issue in great detail in my advanced tutorial. So check it out if you get a chance. Now let's take a look at what the glassboard option looks like. Again, I'll click on scene settings, then I'll simply click on this clear box, and then I'll click apply. The glassboard background is unique in that you can't see the effects until you click the preview button. But before we do that, notice anything missing? You got it, our text box. Now the reason the text box cannot be seen here is because I changed the font color to white, and the glassboard background is also white. So if I had to change my green board font color to anything other than white, you would be able to see the text. However, I deliberately chose the color white so that I could show you what happens when you do that. Again, it's an easy fix. Just hover over where the text box is at and click on it. Then click the gear icon and change your font color to anything other than white. So when you are creating your videos, don't panic when you're making changes. What might look like a problem just might not be a problem at all. Now let's see what the glassboard background looks like by clicking the preview button. See how the palm of the hand instead of the back of the hand is facing the viewer? It appears as though you are writing on see-through glass. And that's a really cool effect that viewers tend to enjoy. So check it out when you get a chance. Alright, let's explore more of the scene settings. If you want to have a custom background for your video, you will simply click this right here. And when you do, there are additional options that will be made available to you. You can choose a custom color or a custom image. If you are choosing a custom image as your background, you want to click on the Browse File button and choose an image that's stored on your computer. Remember, Doodly scene settings will only change this one scene. The changes that you make here will not be applied to every scene within your video. I'm going to show you how to make changes to every scene within your video in our next lesson. But first, let's finish examining what we see here. If you have purchased Doodly Rainbow, it's turned off by default, but you can click it here to turn it on for this one scene only. Let me show you how. I'm going to click this rainbow button, and when I do, a pop-up screen will appear. It says, turning on rainbow will make all images in the scene color. Would you like to proceed? Click the red cancel button if the answer is no, and the blue OK button if you would like for the scene that you're working on to be rendered in color. Again, this is just for the scene that you are currently working on. It's not for every scene in your video. In the far right hand column, we have the exit animation. Now, the exit animation determines the transition from one scene to the next. I'm going to show you how this works, but in order to do that, I need to close out of this screen. So I'll just come down here and I'll click cancel. Right now, we have created only one scene. However, in order to show you how exit animation works, we must have at least two scenes. So I'm gonna just switch over here to another video that I was working on that has multiple scenes, and we're gonna work with that for this example. Okay, now that we have at least two scenes, we can review the exit animation options. So I'll just click on scene settings again, and let's take a look at what we have here. If you hover over each of these icons, it will tell you which action that each of these symbols will produce. Now, this symbol will have no exit animation, and this icon will swipe left. Let's click on this one and see what that looks like. I'm going to click apply, and then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click the preview button so that we can see what happens. When the scene is finished, the drawing exited to the left. Now, I don't know about you, but that was so fast that I didn't see what happened. There is a way now to slow down the transition. See right here where it says extra time at the end? By default, Doodly scene settings is set at 0.5 seconds. Now, normally that's plenty of time for one scene to transition to the next, but that's just not enough time for you to actually see what I would like for you to see. So let's just change this 0.5 seconds to 5.0 seconds. Clicking the plus and minus sign will increase or decrease the extra time at the end of each scene, or you can just highlight it and type in the number that you want. I'm gonna click apply and then preview. Did you see how the drawing exited to the left? Now, a couple of really good examples for increasing the extra time at the end of a scene would be, let's just say you have a voiceover that's talking during the scene, or if you want to give the viewer more time to read the text that's written on the screen. Those are ideal situations where you may want to extend the time at the end of the scene. Okay, now let's come back up here and let's try swipe right. I'll click apply, and then preview. The drawing exited to the right. Next, I'll click scene settings, and then swipe up, and apply, and then preview. The scene exited by moving up off the screen. Next, I'll select swipe down, apply, and preview. The drawing transitioned to the next scene by moving down and out of view. And finally, let's check out what selecting erase looks like. I'll click apply and then preview. As you can see, an eraser was used to remove the scene. And finally, let's see what clicking on none will do to our scene's transition. I'm going to click apply and then preview. As you can see, there was no movement from the scene. When the scene was complete, the next screen automatically appeared without any animation. Next, let's take a look at subtitles. Now, you turn this feature on and off by clicking on this button. Now, you might be wondering what this feature actually does. Well, let me show you. By default, this feature is turned on. However, in order for it to become active, you must have something in this box. Either written text or a symbol of some sort, but you have to have something in this box in order for it to be activated. I'm going to enter some text. What are subtitles? I'll click apply and then I'll click preview. See, there it is. That's a subtitle. Now keep in mind that the viewer will see your subtitles. That's the whole point of them. Whatever you put in the subtitle text box will appear along the bottom of the screen. Now, some people use this to add branding to their video by, say, adding a website address, or maybe you want to add a call to action, or maybe you just want to include the written script. The bottom line is you can put whatever text or symbol you want here. However, you cannot add images and the URLs are not activated. Now, the final section here deals with making changes to the font color, font size, background color, and opacity of your subtitles. You simply click on the font color or the font background color to make your selections, and as far as the font size and opacity, you can click the plus or minus sign to make any necessary changes. I'll repeat it. Subtitles are a great way to highlight your main point of view or to add a little something extra to your scene. Now, feel free to play around with all or some of these options because each change that you make will directly impact how your video appears to your viewers. Now, as you can see, there are plenty of ways to customize each scene in your video. However, if you make changes and fail to click this big green apply button before closing the screen, all of your changes will be lost and you will have to click on the scene setting buttons and re-enter all of your information again. Also, it bears repeating, when you make changes under scene settings, it will only affect the current scene that you are working on. That means that you can have a different combination of settings for each scene in your video. Well guys, that was a lot of learning, so I'm gonna end the lesson here. Remember, Doodly scene settings will make changes to individual scenes and not the entire video. So just as a side note, I want you to keep in mind that every video is different and so will be the settings for them. So don't be afraid to adjust your settings based on each individual scene as well as for the video as a whole. Now, in our next lesson, you will learn how to apply default settings that will affect your entire video by using Doodly video settings. There's still a lot I would like to show you, so be sure to come back and join me for that too. So when you are ready to power forward, head on over to lesson number 12 and I'll see you there.